Jay Inslee joins me now to talk more about this. And Governor, Mark Brew, he is a resident of your state. You have said that, quote, no one should be allowed to do what Brew did ever again. How concerned are you by what Donald Trump has vowed to do concerning pardons if he's elected president again?
You know, I think that the Brew case is a window of the threat that democracy faces, and it's difficult for us to wrap our heads around that anyone would threaten to do this again. But essentially, that's what Donald Trump is saying. Here you have Mark Brew. He was convicted of violent attacks on January 6th. And he said, Judge, you can give me 100 years, but I would just do it all over again. And what has Donald Trump done? He's called these folks political prisoners. He has specifically said they are political prisoners and they should be freed. He has said that on multiple occasions. And he had said he would also use the pardon power to do this. I think this Drew case is really an alarm bell for the nation to understand that our concerns about January 6th happening again is not a fever dream. It is not a hallucination. It's not a bad script for a bad movie. It is a reality that these folks will say they will do it again. And their cult leader has said he will do it again because he will free the people who are responsible for doing it the first time. Every day is January 6th until we rid ourselves of this threat. And I got to tell you, the reason that I'm talking about this today is we need the judicial system of the United States to act in a way that can get these cases tried, frankly, against the person who's responsible for being an ally of what he calls political prisoners. And I am concerned that the judicial system, and I used to practice law for 20 years, can be susceptible to dawdling and delay. And in this case, delay would be a denial of justice. The American people, everybody's entitled to presumption of innocence, even dangerous narcissists. But the American people are entitled to try these criminal cases in a timely fashion this year. And we ought to speak up to assure ourselves of that.
And, Governor, it wasn't just the Capitol that saw violence on January 6th. It literally came to your home that day when pro-Trump supporters breached the gate of the governor's mansion there in Washington state. Today, the Brennan Center has a report out that shows that public officials across the country are experiencing threats of varying degrees, and they have been for the past 3 years. You're on the ground level there. You are passing bills that impact your constituents on a day-to-day basis. How is it affecting local governments and the officials that you work with day to day?
Well, we have been frustrated and bothered, but unimpeded. We are doing our jobs. We are not cowed by these people. But I did have some sense of that on that day because a mob broke down our fences and were stopped from coming into my residence where I was at the time, and I had to go to a safe room and put on a flak jacket at the request of State Patrol. They were stopped by a courageous state trooper, Sergeant Kelly Howes, at my door, so they didn't penetrate the house. But I saw with my own eyes people with AR-15s storming the place where the governor was trying to do business. So I've seen this, but that was nothing compared to what happened at the U.S. Capitol. And so what I'm trying to articulate is that we have an obligation, I think, to rise to the challenge of blowing the whistle on this so that it will never happen again. And sort of passivity in the face of this danger is not the right approach. And we have a mechanism in democracy to deal with this. It's called the judicial system. But I am concerned about Trump using delay to try to escape criminal liability. And I think it's very important for Americans to raise their voices to the judicial system. Get the job done. Let's have a fair trial and see let the chips fall where they may.